The year is 2025, December 9th. The world's attention is once again drawn to the waters of Southeast Asia, where a silent conflict simmers just beneath the surface. Tension hangs over the turquoise waters of the West Philippine Sea, a region both breathtaking and fraught with danger. What appears calm from above hides a daily struggle for control and survival. Filipino fishing boats, small wooden bancas, bob in the waves, trying to make a living in their own nation's exclusive economic zone. For generations, these waters have provided food and livelihood for countless families, but they are dwarfed by massive white-hulled ships of the China Coast Guard, enforcing a claim the world has rejected. These vessels patrol relentlessly, their presence a constant reminder of a powerful neighbor's ambitions. This is a daily drama, David versus Goliath, played out on the open sea. The odds are stark, the imbalance of power impossible to ignore. For Filipino fishermen, this is not just politics, it's survival. Every catch, every trip is shadowed by uncertainty and fear. They tell of being blocked, chased, and intimidated by giant ships, horns blaring warnings in a language they don't understand. Sometimes the threats are shouted through loudspeakers echoing across the waves. These are not isolated incidents, but part of a calculated pattern, a slow squeeze to push the Philippines out of its own waters. Each encounter chips away at the fishermen's confidence and their ability to provide for their families. Courage alone cannot fill empty nets or stand up to steel hulls. The economic toll is mounting as more fishermen return home with less to show for their efforts. Confrontations are escalating. Water cannons blast supply vessels, lasers blind crews, and the threat of violence grows with each passing month. Ramming incidents risk lives, leaving boats battered and crews shaken. The sea, once a source of hope, now feels like a battleground. Each act is a calculated test of the Philippines' resolve, stopping just short of open war. The line between peace and conflict grows thinner every day. The Philippine government files protest after protest. The world voices concern. International headlines highlight the standoff, but solutions remain elusive. But on the water, words evaporate in the sea mist. The Chinese ships remain, unmoved by diplomatic appeals or global scrutiny. For the Philippines, this is no longer just about territory. It's about survival and the right to sail freely in their own backyard. The struggle is deeply personal for every fisherman who braves these contested waters. The nation's maritime heritage is at stake. Generations of seafarers have called these waters home, and their legacy now hangs in the balance. The question now, how can Manila defend its people and its waters? Leaders weigh their options, knowing that every decision carries enormous risk. The answer may require new, bolder solutions. Investments in modern ships, alliances, and technology are underway, but time is running short. The struggle is constant. The stakes are rising. Each confrontation brings the region closer to a tipping point. Every day, the West Philippine Sea becomes a little more dangerous. The risk of miscalculation or accident grows with every tense encounter. The world is watching, but for those on the water, the fight is personal. For them, it's about dignity, livelihood, and the future of their children. The Philippines must act or risk losing more than just territory. The outcome of this struggle will shape not only the fate of a nation, but the balance of power in the region for years to come. The West Philippine Sea is a battleground of gray zone tactics, coercion, and intimidation just below open conflict. China's Coast Guard and maritime militias swarm contested areas, overwhelming the Philippines without firing a shot. Filipino crews, outnumbered and outgunned, rely on grit and seamanship to complete their missions. Incidents escalate: lasers, water cannons, deliberate collisions, all filmed, all deliberate. Each act sends a message: we control these waters. The Philippines Navy is underfunded, its ships aging and outmatched. Diplomatic protests and legal victories, like the 2016 Hague ruling, are ignored by Beijing. The pressure is relentless, threatening the Philippines' sovereignty and economic security. Manila is learning that words alone are not enough. To protect its rights, it must build a credible deterrent on the water. The time for action is now. In the midst of growing regional tensions and maritime challenges, an unexpected opportunity has surfaced, one that could reshape naval dynamics in Southeast Asia. The United States is retiring its Freedom-Class Littoral Combat Ships, sleek, modern vessels that have sparked both excitement and controversy since their debut. Surprisingly, these ships are less than a decade old, yet they're being decommissioned due to persistent mechanical issues, high maintenance costs, and a shift in U.S. naval strategy toward larger, more survivable warships. On paper, the LCS seems perfect for littoral operations: fast, modular, and highly automated, designed to adapt quickly to different missions near shorelines. While the U.S. found these ships lacking for high-end, large-scale warfare, the Philippines faces a very different set of maritime challenges. Manila isn't preparing for a massive naval battle. It needs to patrol vast waters, respond rapidly to incidents, and assert its presence in contested maritime zones. For these missions, speed, agility, and endurance are often more valuable than heavy firepower or advanced missile systems. The flaws that made the LCS problematic for the U.S. Navy, like limited armament and mechanical quirks, may be less critical for the Philippines' specific needs. The real question is whether these ships can truly fill the gap in Manila's fleet, or if their well-documented problems will ultimately outweigh their potential promise. Despite the risks, Manila is giving the offer serious consideration, weighing the benefits against the possible pitfalls. It's a classic case of one nation's cast-off becoming another's opportunity, a chance to boost capability quickly, but not without uncertainty. The risks are real, the stakes are high, and for Manila, the decision is anything but simple. The Philippine Navy's courage is legendary, but courage alone can't close the capability gap. The fleet is a patchwork of aging ships and a few modern frigates, too few to cover a vast maritime domain. Persistent presence is deterrence, but the Philippines struggles to maintain it. Modern threats require ships with speed, endurance, and advanced sensors. The goal isn't to match China ship for ship, but to raise the cost of aggression. A squadron of fast, modern warships could change Beijing's calculus. Deterrence is about making conflict too risky to start. The right ships could tip the balance. Freedom-class ships could transform the Philippine Navy overnight. Their size and speed would boost presence and allow rapid response across the archipelago. Modern combat systems, radar, a 57mm gun, missile defenses would be a leap in capability. Even basic armament is a deterrent against aggressive maneuvers. Interoperability with the U.S. and allies would improve, enabling joint patrols and real-time data sharing. The political message is powerful. The Philippines is modernizing and deepening its alliance with the U.S.-American-built warships, crewed by Filipinos, would be a symbol of resolve. For a nation under pressure, these ships offer more than firepower. They offer credibility. The world would see a nation standing up for its rights. But every advantage comes with a cost. Manila must weigh the benefits against the risks. The Freedom-class ships come with baggage. Their propulsion systems are notoriously unreliable, and maintenance is expensive. For the Philippines, a small defense budget could be stretched to the breaking point. Critics warn these ships could spend more time in port than at sea. Operating costs, spare parts, and specialized training add up fast. Some argue the money would be better spent on simpler, more reliable patrol vessels. The LCS's modular design never fully delivered. The ships may arrive with only basic capabilities. There's also the risk of technological dependency on the US, a double-edged sword for Philippine autonomy. The debate is fierce. Are these ships a smart upgrade or a costly gamble? Manila must decide if the benefits outweigh the risks. The wrong choice could haunt the Navy for years. Manila faces a strategic crossroads. Acquiring Freedom-Class ships would be the biggest upgrade in Philippine naval history, an instant boost in numbers and technology. It would shift the Navy from reactive to assertive and deepen the U.S. alliance. The message to Beijing: the Philippines is not alone, but the risks are huge. Financial strain, possible unreliability, and lost opportunities elsewhere. If the ships fail, it could be a costly disaster. The decision is about more than ships. It's about the future of Philippine defense. Invest in a few high-end platforms or many simpler ones. Tie the Navy's fate to U.S. technology or diversify. The stakes are generational, and the choice will define the nation's security for decades. Strip away the technicalities, and this is about sovereignty. At its core, this conflict is not just about territory or resources, but about the right of a nation to determine its own destiny and safeguard its people's future. The Philippines' ability to control its waters and protect its people is under daily threat. Every fisherman chased away, every reef occupied, every incursion by foreign vessels chips away at the nation's authority and dignity. Each loss, no matter how small, is an erosion of national rights and a blow to the collective spirit of the Filipino people. Acquiring Freedom-Class ships is a bold attempt to draw a line in the water, an unmistakable declaration that the Philippines will defend what is rightfully theirs. It's a signal that Manila will not surrender its maritime future, and that the nation stands ready to protect its sovereignty at all costs. The sea is the nation's lifeblood. It sustains communities, feeds families, and connects the Philippines to the wider world. Losing it would be a blow to identity, a wound to the nation's soul that would be felt for generations. The consequences would ripple through the economy, threaten security, and undermine the nation's standing. The world is watching, aware that what happens here matters far beyond these shores. Other Southeast Asian nations face similar threats, their own sovereignty tested by powerful neighbors and shifting tides. Manila's choice could inspire others to stand firm or discourage resistance, shaping the future of the entire region. The struggle in the West Philippine Sea is a bellwether for the region, a test of resolve and unity among Southeast Asian nations. The fate of a free and open Indo-Pacific may hinge on what the Philippines does next. The decision is urgent, the consequences profound, and the eyes of the world are fixed on Manila. The time to choose is now. The nation stands at a crossroads, and history will remember what happens next. The Freedom-Class Littoral Combat Ship was born from a bold idea: create a fast, agile warship for the chaotic waters close to shore. The U.S. Navy wanted something its larger destroyers and cruisers couldn't do: dominate the littorals with speed and adaptability. The LCS was designed as a modular platform, a pickup truck of the seas, able to swap mission packages for different threats. This flexibility promised a cost-effective solution to a wide range of coastal challenges. But the journey was rocky. Cost overruns, technical glitches, and fierce debate about its survivability dogged the program from the start. Critics questioned if a lightly armored ship could survive modern threats, or if trying to do everything meant excelling at nothing. For the Philippines, with its vast coastline and maritime challenges, the LCS concept is compelling. A fast, adaptable ship seems perfect for patrolling archipelagic waters and responding to piracy or territorial disputes. Yet the controversies can't be ignored. Adopting the Freedom Class would be a gamble, one that could revolutionize the Philippine Navy or burden it with a complex asset. The LCS story is a lesson in both innovation and caution. It's a ship that embodies both the promise and peril of military transformation. The stakes for any Navy considering it are high. Traditional warships are built for the open ocean, but the Freedom-Class LCS was designed for the littoral zone: shallow, crowded, and complex. Its shallow draft lets it go where larger ships can't, bringing advanced capabilities right to the coastline. Built for speed and agility, the LCS can sprint at over 40 knots, redeploying rapidly or chasing down threats. This high-tempo style of warfare is perfect for archipelagic nations like the Philippines, with thousands of islands and narrow straits. The LCS's ability to operate close to shore would give the Philippine Navy unprecedented access and control over its waters. Controlling the littorals is vital. These are economic hubs, shipping lanes, and front lines of territorial disputes. The LCS was conceived to ensure freedom of navigation and push back against attempts to close off these critical areas. For the Philippines, this mission is central to national security. The ship's design is fundamentally different, prioritizing speed, shallow water access, and rapid response. It's a tool for modern maritime challenges, not just a scaled-down destroyer. The LCS redefines what a coastal warship can do. The LCS's most revolutionary feature is its modular design. Instead of a single-purpose ship, the LCS can be reconfigured with mission packages for anti-submarine, surface warfare, or mine countermeasures. The anti-submarine warfare module equips the ship with advanced sonar, helicopters, and drones to hunt submarines in shallow waters. The surface warfare package adds powerful missiles and guns, turning the LCS into a threat to enemy ships and fast attack craft. The Mine Countermeasures module uses unmanned vehicles to find and neutralize mines, keeping shipping lanes open without risking the crew. This modularity was meant to let the LCS adapt quickly to new missions. In theory, a ship could swap roles in port and redeploy within days. For navies facing diverse threats, this flexibility is a game changer. The LCS can be a sub-hunter, a surface combatant, or a minesweeper, whatever the mission demands. It's a single hull with many faces, designed for the unpredictable nature of modern coastal warfare. That's the promise of the LCS. The Freedom-Class LCS packs a balanced mix of firepower and technology. Its main weapon is a rapid-fire 57mm gun, effective against surface targets, aircraft, and even incoming missiles. The ship is armed with rolling airframe missiles for defense and increasingly the Naval Strike Missile for long-range offense. The addition of the NSM transforms the LCS into a serious threat to larger warships. A large flight deck supports helicopters and drones, extending the ship's reach for surveillance, anti-submarine, and surface warfare. The MH-60 Seahawk and MQ-8 Fire Scout drone provide eyes, ears, and firepower far beyond the ship itself. Propelled by powerful water jets, the LCS can exceed 40 knots. Speed is its tactical weapon. This agility allows it to reposition, intercept, or evade threats quickly. The combination of advanced weapons, aircraft, and speed makes the Freedom Class a unique warship for dynamic combat environments. It's built for the fast-paced, unpredictable battles of the littorals. The Freedom-Class LCS is striking for its small size and even smaller crew. At just 387 feet and a core crew of about 50, it relies on automation to handle tasks that once required hundreds. The ship's bridge and combat center are integrated, letting a handful of sailors oversee navigation, weapons, and systems. Each crew member is cross-trained, expected to handle multiple roles. A flexible, high-skill team. Mission package specialists join as needed, bringing expertise for specific deployments. This approach aims for efficiency and lower operating costs, but the small crew and heavy automation have brought challenges: fatigue, high workload, and difficulties with repairs at sea. The Navy has had to increase crew size to manage the operational tempo. The sea fighter jet concept is powerful, but running a warship 24/7 is demanding. The LCS's crew model is innovative, but not without real-world limits. The Freedom-Class LCS's story is riddled with controversy. Costs soared far beyond original estimates, turning a cheap warship into an expensive acquisition. Mechanical issues, especially with the complex combining gear, led to breakdowns and delays. The Navy even halted new deliveries until fixes were found. Survivability has been a major concern. The LCS is lightly armored, built to commercial standards, and critics fear it's too vulnerable in real combat. Efforts to up-armor and improve defenses continue, but doubts remain. The modular mission package concept also fell short. Swapping modules proved slow and complex, and some packages struggled to deliver. The Navy abandoned the idea of rapid role changes, assigning each LCS a primary mission for its service life. The core vision of flexibility, was undermined by technical and operational realities. The LCS is a cautionary tale of innovation colliding with complexity. For the Philippine Navy, the Freedom-Class LCS is both a tempting and risky prospect. Its speed, agility, and shallow water capability seem tailor-made for the archipelago's maritime challenges. The LCS could outpace pirates, patrol disputed waters, and provide a credible deterrent with advanced missiles. Helicopters and drones would boost surveillance and response across thousands of islands. Acquiring the LCS could elevate the Philippine Navy's status, giving it real sea denial power. But the ship's high costs, maintenance demands, and reliability issues are serious concerns. Adopting the LCS would require major investments in training, logistics, and infrastructure. The Philippines is watching the U.S. experience closely, balancing the ship's promise against its pitfalls. The Freedom-Class LCS is a lesson in the risks and rewards of military innovation. It broke from tradition, prioritizing speed, modularity, and automation for modern coastal warfare. The ship's capabilities are attractive for nations like the Philippines, offering a leap in maritime power. But the LCS's troubled development shows that new technology brings steep costs and challenges. Even the U.S. Navy struggled to make the concept work. For smaller navies, a misstep could mean expensive, unreliable ships that drain resources. The LCS reminds us that the newest tech isn't always the best solution. Choosing a ship like this is about strategic vision and accepting both risk and reward. The future belongs to navies that can adapt and integrate new technologies wisely. The LCS, for all its flaws, has forced a rethink of how to fight in the littorals and what it takes to build the Navy of tomorrow. Tonight, we look at a story of ambition, technology, and difficult choices. The United States Navy is retiring the Freedom-Class Littoral Combat Ships, vessels that were supposed to be the future of naval warfare. Designed for speed and adaptability, these ships were meant to operate close to shorelines, using modular mission packages to switch roles quickly. But the vision never fully materialized. Persistent mechanical failures, survivability concerns, and ballooning costs plagued the program from the start. The Navy's decision to decommission up to 9 of these relatively new ships has sparked tough questions about military spending and accountability. Billions were spent, but the ships are being sidelined after only a few years of service. The Freedom-Class LCS was a bold idea, plug-and-play warships for a new era. Yet the reality fell short, and the Navy is now forced to admit the program did not deliver. For sailors and engineers, it's a tough chapter. For lawmakers and the public, it's a moment to demand answers. What went wrong, and what does this mean for the future of the U.S. Navy? We'll break down the failures, the fallout, and what comes next. The Freedom-Class story is a cautionary tale. Even the most advanced militaries can get it wrong. As the Navy pivots away from these ships, the lessons learned will shape future decisions. Let's dive into why the Freedom-Class LCS is being retired so soon. At the heart of the Freedom-Class ship's troubles is a critical flaw: the propulsion system's combining gear. This gear, meant to deliver high speeds, repeatedly failed, leaving ships stranded or stuck in port for costly repairs. The clutch bearings couldn't handle the stress of switching between power sources, and fixes proved elusive. Years and millions were spent chasing a solution, but the flaw was baked into the ship's design. Imagine a sports car that can't accelerate without breaking down. No matter how many times you fix it, the problem returns. The Navy faced a tough choice: pour more money into redesigning every ship, or cut their losses. The cost to fix each vessel was astronomical, and multiplied across the fleet, it became unsustainable. The Freedom-Class was sold on speed and agility, but its most fundamental system was unreliable. The Navy ultimately decided the engineering challenge and price tag were too great. Persistent propulsion failures became the first major crack in the LCS program's foundation. The ship's promise of rapid response and flexibility was undermined by their inability to reliably get underway. This wasn't just a technical hiccup, it was a fatal flaw. The propulsion issue set the stage for the Navy's decision to move on. When a warship can't be trusted to move, it can't be trusted to fight. The Freedom-Class never overcame this basic hurdle. Beyond mechanical issues, survivability became a major concern. The Freedom-Class ships were built for speed, not toughness, using aluminum superstructures that are vulnerable to fire. In an era of advanced anti-ship missiles, critics argued these ships were too fragile for contested waters. A single missile could cripple or destroy them, and their light armor made them soft targets. The analogy: a lightweight boxer in a heavyweight fight, fast but unable to take a hit. The Navy realized these ships wouldn't last in a conflict with a major power. Their limited armor and defensive systems were critical vulnerabilities. Offensive firepower was also lacking. The base model had only a 57mm cannon and short-range missiles. Without long-range weapons, they had to get dangerously close to threats. This combination, lightly armed and lightly armored, was a worst-case scenario for naval planners. The Freedom class simply couldn't survive or deliver decisive blows in high-end combat. Survivability concerns sealed their fate. The Navy needed ships that could both take and deliver a punch. Cost overruns were another nail in the coffin for the Freedom class program. Originally pitched as affordable, each ship ended up costing over $600 million, triple the initial estimate. Operating and maintaining them was even more expensive, rivaling the cost of much larger, more capable destroyers. Frequent breakdowns and specialized maintenance drove up expenses. The Navy found itself paying premium prices for unreliable, underpowered ships. The modular mission package concept, meant to save money, actually increased complexity and costs. Each module required its own crew, training, and logistics, multiplying expenses. Instead of one versatile ship, the Navy got 3 subclasses, each with unique needs. The promised savings never materialized. Instead, the program became a financial burden. The Navy's maintenance budget was stretched thin, impacting other priorities. The Freedom-Class LCS was simply unsustainable. The cost-to-capability ratio made continued investment impossible to justify. The Navy had to cut its losses. Faced with mounting evidence, the Navy made a tough, politically sensitive call. The Freedom-Class ships weren't living up to their promise, mechanically unreliable, too vulnerable, and too expensive. Leadership decided to redirect resources to more capable platforms. Unmanned systems, destroyers, and submarines. Admitting failure wasn't easy, but the strategic landscape had changed. Every ship now needs to be lethal and survivable. By retiring these ships early, the Navy could save billions and reinvest in higher priority needs. This was a strategic pivot, prioritizing future combat readiness over a troubled legacy. The move also signaled accountability. The Navy is willing to make hard choices and move on. The Freedom-Class retirement marks a turning point for the fleet. Decommissioning doesn't always mean the end for a warship. The Navy could mothball the Freedom-Class ships, but ongoing maintenance costs make that unlikely. Scrapping is an option, but dismantling nearly new ships is a financial loss. More likely, the Navy will look to sell or transfer them to allied nations through the Foreign Military Sales Program. This allows the U.S. to recoup some investment and strengthen partners' naval capabilities. The process is complex, requiring congressional and State Department approval and removal of sensitive tech. Potential buyers are warned about the ship's known issues, including propulsion problems and high operating costs. Still, for navies with limited budgets, a discounted Freedom-Class ship could be attractive. The U.S. can offload an unwanted asset and help an ally patrol its waters. The story of these ships may take an international turn. Their next chapter could unfold under a different flag. The Navy's loss could become another nation's opportunity. Let's look at who might be interested. The Philippines has shown interest in acquiring these ships. With one of the world's longest coastlines, the Philippine Navy needs modern vessels for patrol and maritime security. For the U.S., a ship that can't face China in a major war is a liability. For the Philippines, it's a potential upgrade. The LCS's speed and versatility are ideal for presence patrols, intercepting suspicious vessels, and responding to piracy. Cost is a concern, but a steep discount or U.S. support could make the deal feasible. Strategically, Washington wants to help Manila strengthen its maritime capabilities. A stronger Philippine Navy supports regional stability and U.S. interests in the Indo-Pacific. The Philippines must weigh the ship's mechanical issues and sustainment costs against their operational benefits. It's a significant commitment, but the chance to acquire a modern warship may be too good to pass up. The final decision will depend on price and terms. The Freedom-Class could soon sail under a new flag. The Freedom-Class story proves that a warship's value depends on the mission. For the U.S. Navy, these ships were the wrong tool for a high-end fight, too fragile, unreliable, and costly. Retiring them was a pragmatic move, freeing resources for more capable platforms. But for other navies, focused on patrol and maritime security, the LCS could be a real asset. The flaws are serious, but manageable for nations not facing their adversaries. Early retirement isn't just a tale of failure. It's about shifting priorities and international partnerships. Transferring these ships could turn a U.S. problem into a strategic gain for both countries. The U.S. strengthens an ally. The Philippines gains a modern patrol vessel. One nation's discarded equipment becomes another's prized possession. The fate of these ships will be decided in Washington and Manila. The Freedom-Class LCS was designed for a vision that didn't materialize for the U.S., but its story may just be beginning elsewhere. Their next chapter could unfold in Southeast Asia under a new command. The Philippine Navy stands at the threshold of a major transformation, poised to redefine its role in the region and secure the nation's maritime interests for generations to come. It is now seriously considering acquiring Freedom-Class warships from the United States, a move that could dramatically reshape its maritime power and capabilities, bringing the fleet into a new era of naval warfare. These advanced ships are specifically designed for operations close to shore, making them perfectly suited for a nation of over 7,600 islands, where coastal defense and rapid response are crucial. The addition of Freedom-Class vessels would mark a significant shift toward a more agile, flexible, and responsive force, capable of adapting to evolving security challenges in the region. This isn't just a hardware upgrade, it's a strategic leap that will impact how the Navy plans, trains, and operates in the years ahead. By strengthening ties with the U.S., the acquisition would boost interoperability, enhance joint training, and modernize the fleet to meet international standards. For Filipino sailors, it means mastering cutting-edge technology, gaining new skills, and working with some of the most advanced naval systems in the world. The new ships would greatly enhance patrols, protect vital resources, and assert Philippine sovereignty in contested waters, especially in areas facing increasing external pressure. For ordinary Filipinos, it promises not only stronger national defense, but also faster, more effective disaster response and humanitarian assistance during times of crisis. This would be one of the most significant and ambitious modernization efforts in Philippine military history, signaling a new chapter for the armed forces. It signals a bold commitment to safeguarding the nation's future, ensuring that the Philippines can stand strong in the face of any challenge. In a region fraught with tension and uncertainty, a credible and modern naval presence is now non-negotiable for national security. The winds of change are indeed blowing for the Philippine Navy, ushering in a new era of hope, transformation on some Navy, hope of strength and resilience on the high seas. The West Philippine Sea is a high-stakes chessboard, with every move closely watched. China's aggressive tactics, like water cannon attacks and swarming, demand a rapid, firm response from the Philippines. Speed is crucial. Delays allow adversaries to entrench their positions. The current fleet, mostly aging hand-me-downs, struggles to keep pace with China's modern ships. Filipino sailors face the daunting task of defending vast waters with slower, less advanced vessels. Freedom-Class ships could change this dynamic overnight. Capable of over 40 knots, they would enable near-instant response to incidents. This speed shrinks distances, allowing the Navy to project presence and deter aggression. A fast, modern ship at a flashpoint can make adversaries think twice. The Freedom-Class would give the Philippines a strategic edge in contested waters. It's not just about matching China. It's about outmaneuvering them. Rapid deployment means upholding international law and protecting Filipino interests. In this chess match, speed and presence are the ultimate power moves. The Freedom-Class LCS's defining trait is its remarkable speed, capable of exceeding 40 knots, which is nearly double that of many conventional warships. This isn't just a technical specification, it's a fundamental shift in how naval operations can be conducted. For the Philippine Navy, this means patrols and responses that once took a day can now be accomplished in just a few hours. The ability to cover vast distances quickly is a force multiplier, allowing the Navy to be everywhere it needs to be when it matters most. Speed brings tactical flexibility. Commanders can dictate the terms of engagements, intercept threats before they escalate, or disengage and reposition when needed. This agility is a game changer in unpredictable maritime environments. In the West Philippine Sea, this agility allows the Navy to intercept intruders, support local fishermen, and respond to emergencies with unprecedented swiftness, often arriving before situations spiral out of control. Water jet propulsion gives the LCS exceptional maneuverability, which is crucial in crowded or tense situations where traditional propellers might struggle. This advanced technology allows for rapid changes in direction and speed. Sharp turns and quick stops help avoid accidents, de-escalate standoffs, and keep both crew and civilians safe. The LCS can outmaneuver almost any vessel in its class. The psychological impact is real. Adversaries know the LCS can close in fast, complicating their plans and forcing them to reconsider their actions. This presence alone can deter hostile moves. For the Philippines, a ship that can outrun and outmaneuver rivals is a powerful deterrent, sending a clear message that the nation is ready and able to defend its interests at sea. It signals serious intent to defend maritime territory, boosting morale among sailors and confidence among allies. Speed here isn't just a number, it's strategic influence, shaping how the Navy projects power and responds to threats in real time. The LCS transforms the Navy's ability to secure its waters, making it a true guardian of the nation's maritime frontiers. In maritime security, being first on the scene can make all the difference, saving lives, preventing escalation, and ensuring the Philippines' sovereignty is never in doubt. The Philippines' geography, thousands of islands and shallow waters, demands a unique naval solution. Large warships can't operate effectively in these littorals. Their deep drafts keep them away from the action. The Freedom-Class LCS, with its shallow draft, is built for these waters. It can patrol narrow straits, access small ports, and pursue threats into shallow bays. This is a perfect fit for the Philippine archipelago and the contested West Philippine Sea. Unlike deep draft ships, the LCS can get close to disputed shoals and reefs, supporting Coast Guard and resupply missions. Its ability to operate where confrontations happen is a major tactical advantage. The LCS is the right tool for daily maritime security in an island nation. It's as comfortable in open sea as it is in intricate waterways. This design philosophy matches the operational realities of the Philippine Navy. Choosing the LCS is about matching capability to geography. It's a smart, strategic move for a nation defined by the sea. The Freedom-Class ship's large flight deck and hangar turn it into a floating airbase. It can support advanced helicopters like the MH-60R Seahawk and drones, extending its reach far beyond the horizon. Helicopters provide rapid surveillance, identification, and real-time intelligence, crucial for maritime security. Drones offer persistent, stealthy monitoring over disputed areas or suspected illegal activity. This airborne capability multiplies the ship's effectiveness, allowing one vessel to monitor vast areas. In search and rescue, helicopters can quickly reach those in need, even when land airfields are out of reach. The floating airbase concept is vital for both security and humanitarian missions. The LCS's aviation facilities are a force multiplier for the Philippine Navy. It's a versatile asset, ready for any mission at sea. The Freedom-Class's aviation facilities unlock advanced anti-submarine warfare. The MH-60R Seahawk can deploy sonar and sonobuoys, turning the ship into a formidable subhunter. This is critical for the Philippines, whose waters are frequented by foreign submarines. Currently, the Navy's anti-submarine capabilities are limited. The LCS, paired with modern helicopters, would be a game-changer for undersea defense. These helicopters can also carry anti-ship missiles, countering swarms of small attack boats. The ship's modular design allows for mission flexibility, surface warfare, surveillance, or anti-submarine operations. For the Philippines, this means building foundational capabilities now, with room to grow. The LCS offers layered defense and adaptability for future threats. It's a leap forward in both technology and strategy. The Freedom-Class ships, though relatively new and equipped with modern technology, are being retired early by the U.S. Navy, surprising many defense analysts and observers. This unexpected move opens a rare and valuable opportunity for allies like the Philippines to acquire advanced warships at a fraction of their original cost, something that would otherwise be out of reach. Through the U.S. Excess Defense Articles program, the Philippines could pay mainly for refurbishment and training, not the expensive process of new ship construction. making the deal even more attractive. This could accelerate the Philippine Navy's modernization by several years, delivering more capability and firepower for significantly less money than building new ships from scratch. Instead of acquiring just a few new patrol boats, the Navy could potentially field a fleet of powerful littoral combat ships, dramatically boosting its maritime presence and deterrence. The value for Filipino taxpayers is immense. Modern, capable ships at a steep discount, allowing the country to stretch its defense budget further than ever before. However, it's important to remember that long-term costs for maintenance, specialized training, and ongoing technical support must be carefully factored into the equation. These high-tech ships require significant investment in skilled personnel and upgraded infrastructure, including new training programs and support facilities. Still, the initial savings from acquiring these ships at a discount could help fund these essential needs, making the entire project more sustainable and cost-effective in the long run. It's a rare chance for the Philippines to leap ahead in naval capability without breaking the bank, and to do so much faster than traditional procurement would allow. For the Philippines, this is not just a financial bargain, but also a strategic one, strengthening alliances and regional security. The right investment now could secure the nation's maritime defense and sovereignty for decades to come, ensuring peace and stability in the region. Every opportunity carries risks, and the Freedom-Class ships are no exception. The main concern is a mechanical flaw in the combining gear, which has led to early U.S. Navy retirements. The Philippines must ensure this issue is fixed and affordable before buying. Integrating such advanced ships requires major investment in training and support. The Navy must build new expertise and career paths for crews. Armament is another challenge. Effective weapons must be secured to realize the ship's full potential. Without proper missiles and guns, the LCS is just a fast transport. Despite these hurdles, the strategic upside is huge. If technical and sustainment issues are addressed, these ships could transform Philippine maritime defense. It's a calculated risk, but bold moves are often needed to secure the future. For a nation on the front lines of maritime competition, the Freedom-Class could be a game changer. Tonight, we look beyond the headlines to a story that could reshape Southeast Asia's future. The Philippines stands at a crossroads, considering a major military purchase: Freedom-Class warships from the United States. These ships are fast, modern, and a leap in technology for the Philippine Navy, tempting for a country under pressure in the West Philippine Sea. The narrative is one of modernization and partnership, with the U.S. helping an ally stand tall. But beneath the surface, the deal is far more complex. The Freedom-Class ships are being decommissioned by the U.S. Navy after only a few years. A red flag. Why are these ships, supposedly good for the Philippines, not good enough for America? The answer lies in politics, economics, and military strategy. These vessels are floating supercomputers, packed with sensitive tech that demands maintenance the Philippine Navy isn't equipped for. The allure is undeniable, but the hidden truths reveal a complicated picture. This isn't just about buying ships. It's about buying into a system and a future that's uncertain. Is the Philippines being sold a solution or a problem? The deal's shiny exterior hides immense financial risk and strategic gamble. We'll pull back the curtain on this multi-billion-dollar deal. What are the real challenges and interests at play? The fate of a nation's security could hang in the balance. Let's dive in. The Freedom-Class is a marvel of engineering, but its advanced tech is also its Achilles heel. Maintenance isn't routine. It's a monumental task requiring specialized training, proprietary parts, and vast sums of money. If a critical component fails, the ship could be sidelined for months, waiting for parts from the U.S. This creates a dangerous dependency on American defense contractors. Spare parts are expensive and subject to U.S. policy and supply chains. Imagine tensions rising in the West Philippine Sea, but half the fleet is stuck in port, waiting for a part from San Diego. The financial burden goes far beyond the sticker price. Lifetime maintenance can be 2 to 3 times the purchase cost. For the Philippines, that means dedicating a huge chunk of its defense budget for decades. That money comes at the expense of the Army, Air Force, or other naval assets. Without sustained funding, these ships could rust in harbor. Expensive, but useless. Even the U.S. Navy struggled with the Freedom-Class: engine problems, unreliable mission modules, and high costs. If the world's largest navy gave up on these ships, how can the Philippines succeed? It's a high-tech gamble with a high chance of failure. The hidden costs are rarely discussed, but they're real. The question: can the Philippines afford this risk, or is it buying into a logistical nightmare? Why is the US so eager for the Philippines to buy these ships? It's about more than helping an ally. It's about American strategy in the Indo-Pacific. The US wants to counter China's growing influence by strengthening a key ally on the South China Sea's front line. Freedom-Class ships under a Filipino flag can patrol contested waters without escalating tensions as directly as US warships might. The deal deepens interoperability. Filipino sailors would train on US systems, use US doctrine, and rely on US logistics. This binds the two navies together, making joint operations seamless. In a crisis, the US Pacific Fleet could work closely with its Filipino counterparts. For Washington, it's a strategic win, regardless of the maintenance burden on Manila. There's also an industrial motive. The US Navy wants to offload ships it no longer needs. Selling them to the Philippines turns a domestic program failure into a foreign policy success. It keeps American production lines running and saves jobs. For the Philippines, rejecting the offer could strain the alliance. Accepting it means taking on all the risks. The US isn't acting out of pure generosity. It's pursuing its own interests. Washington wants a stronger, more interoperable partner in its competition with China. The Freedom-Class is the tool, but the Philippines pays the price. The strategic push puts Manila in a tough spot. Is this partnership worth the cost? Or is it a burden disguised as a gift? Inside the Philippine Navy, the Freedom-Class deal has sparked fierce debate. Some senior officers, often US trained, see the ships as the fastest way to modernize and strengthen the alliance. They argue that sharing a platform with the US Navy is a powerful deterrent. But others, especially from logistics and planning, warn of a maintenance nightmare. They fear the Navy's budget will be consumed by a handful of ships, leaving the rest of the fleet neglected. This camp wants a sustainable, resilient force, not a fragile showcase fleet dependent on foreign support. They advocate for more versatile corvettes from South Korea or Europe and robust coastal defense systems with land-based anti-ship missiles. Some even push for a small submarine program, offering stealth and strategic deterrence. The debate is about two visions: alliance-based prestige with the Freedom-Class or self-reliant asymmetric defense. The choice will define the Navy for a generation. It's not just about ships, it's about the future of Philippine security. Which path will they choose? The Freedom-Class is often misunderstood. Designed for coastal operations, not full-scale naval battles, its strengths are speed and shallow draft. It's ideal for chasing pirates or patrolling close to shore, not for slugging it out with major warships. Its armament is modest, no match for modern Chinese destroyers bristling with long-range missiles. In a direct fight, the Freedom-Class would be outgunned and outranged. Its lightweight construction favors speed over survivability. A single missile hit could be catastrophic. The US Navy recognized these vulnerabilities and shifted to more robust frigates. For the Philippines, the Freedom-Class looks impressive, but lacks the punch to challenge a major naval power. It's a coastal patrol vessel on steroids, not a frontline brawler. In a real conflict, it would be at a grave disadvantage. The ship is built for a different kind of fight. The real test is how these ships stack up against China. The Chinese Navy is now a world-class force, with advanced carriers, destroyers, and submarines. China's Coast Guard and maritime militia add to its power in the South China Sea. Against this, a few Freedom-Class ships are like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Chinese destroyers can overwhelm the entire Philippine squadron. The plan operates in integrated task forces with layered defenses. A lone LCS would be detected and targeted long before it could strike. The Philippines can't match China ship for ship. That's why some officers push for asymmetric warfare, land-based missiles, sea mines, and submarines. The Freedom-Class doesn't fit this strategy. It's large, visible, and fragile. In peacetime, it can patrol. In war, it's a liability. Deterrence requires credible, survivable threats, not just ships that look impressive. Critics of the Freedom-Class deal argue for smarter alternatives. Modern corvettes from South Korea or Europe are reliable, well-armed, and cheaper to operate. Buying more corvettes means a wider naval presence. Shore-based anti-ship missiles, like the BrahMos, can turn the archipelago into a formidable defense zone. These systems are hard to find and destroy, threatening enemy ships far out to sea. The most ambitious option, a small fleet of diesel-electric submarines, Submarines offer stealth and strategic deterrence, complicating any enemy's plans. These alternatives focus on self-reliance, sustainability, and asymmetric impact. It's about building a resilient force, not prestige platforms. Choosing this path would mark a major shift in Philippine defense strategy. The Freedom-Class warships aren't bad. They're just the wrong fit for the Philippines' needs. They offer a quick technological fix and the comfort of U.S. alliance, but beneath the surface lies risk. Maintenance costs, logistical dependency, and questionable survivability are serious red flags. If support falters or budgets fall short, these ships could become expensive monuments to a flawed strategy. The internal Navy debate highlights a core truth: security can't be outsourced. More corvettes, land-based missiles, and submarines represent a different mindset, one of self-reliance and tailored defense. The Freedom-Class deal is a bet that the alliance will hold, funding will flow, and the ships will deter aggression. But geopolitics is risky. There's no sure win. This could be a bold step toward modernization or a crippling misstep. The truth. The Philippine Navy stands at a pivotal moment, facing both immense challenges and unprecedented opportunities as it looks to the future. For decades, it relied on aging, second-hand ships, vessels that have seen better days, often outmatched by regional rivals and struggling to keep up with modern threats. But now, Manila is eyeing a leap forward, acquiring decommissioned Freedom-Class Littoral Combat Ships from the United States, a move that could redefine its naval capabilities. These ships are modern and fast, designed for flexibility and speed, but they are not ready-made solutions for the Philippines' unique maritime challenges. To be truly effective in the contested waters of the West Philippine Sea, these ships will require deep, costly upgrades, advanced missiles, state-of-the-art sensors, and comprehensive new training for their crews. This isn't just a simple purchase. It's a strategic gamble that could shape the nation's security for years to come. The Freedom-Class was originally built for a different doctrine: modular, fast, but underarmed, and plagued by persistent mechanical issues that have challenged even the U.S. Navy. For the Philippines, the real value lies in transforming these ships, upgrading and adapting them, not simply accepting them as is from the U.S. inventory. Upgrades are absolutely essential to make them credible deterrents, not just expensive patrol boats with limited firepower. The U.S. Navy used these ships as part of a much larger, integrated fleet. But for the Philippines, these ships will often operate independently, sometimes as the most powerful asset in the area, responsible for protecting vital interests. That means each ship must be self-sufficient and ready for a wide range of threats, from anti-ship missiles to electronic warfare and even cyber attacks. The discussion isn't about speed or looks. It's about what it takes to make these ships truly combat effective and survivable in a contested environment. This means investing in advanced missile systems that can match or exceed those of potential adversaries, upgrading radar and electronic suites, fixing engineering flaws, and providing intensive, ongoing crew training to master new technologies. It's a complex, costly journey that demands not just money, but long-term commitment, technical expertise, and strong political will from the nation's leaders. The outcome will decide if these ships become proud symbols of a modern, capable Navy, or cautionary tales of overpromising and under-delivering in the face of rising threats. The stakes for Philippine maritime security have never been higher, and the world is watching to see if this truly is a new dawn for the Philippine Navy. The Freedom-Class LCS was born from a bold U.S. Navy vision: a fast, agile, and modular warship designed for the challenges of the 21st century. It was a ship meant to break the mold, promising flexibility and speed in a rapidly changing world. The idea was simple but ambitious: dominate coastal waters by swapping out mission packages for anti-submarine, mine, or surface warfare. This modular approach was supposed to let the ship adapt to any threat, at any time, with minimal delay. Its high speed and shallow draft allowed it to operate close to shore, where larger ships couldn't go. But despite these advantages, the program soon struggled with unexpected challenges. Mission packages lagged behind schedule, and for years, the ships lacked a clear, defined role in the fleet.
The promise of versatility became a source of confusion and frustration. Critics pointed out their light armament, just a 57mm gun, short-range missiles, and 30mm cannons, insufficient for high-intensity combat or facing modern threats. The ships seemed underarmed for the missions they might face. The Freedom class also suffered from a critical propulsion flaw, which sidelined ships for months at a time, further eroding confidence in the program. Many were decommissioned early, their potential never fully realized. Now, these ships are being offered to allies like the Philippines, who see opportunity where others saw failure. For Manila, the LCS offers a modern hull with speed and endurance, a platform that could help patrol vast waters. Yet, its troubled history and technical issues can't be ignored. The modular design, once seen as a weakness, could now become a strength, allowing the Philippines to tailor weapons, sensors, and systems to their unique needs and regional threats. The challenge ahead is clear: rebuild a flawed platform into a warship fit for the West Philippine Sea, capable of defending national interests and deterring aggression. It's about seeing potential, not just problems, about turning limitations into opportunities for innovation and growth. The LCS is a blank canvas for transformation, ready to be reimagined and rebuilt for a new era of maritime security. The mission now is to turn it into a credible deterrent, not just a fast ship, but a vessel that can truly protect and project power where it matters most. That means reimagining what the ship can be, not what it was, unlocking its full potential for those who dare to take on the challenge. In the contested waters of the West Philippine Sea, a warship's true power is measured not just by its size or speed, but by the reach and lethality of its missiles. In this high-stakes environment, firepower is the ultimate deterrent. The Freedom class's 57mm gun, while effective against small threats, is no match for the advanced missiles and ships it may face today. To survive and win, anti-ship missiles are the first and most critical upgrade for these vessels. The Naval Strike Missile, already fielded by the U.S. Navy, stands out as a top candidate, giving the LCS the ability to strike enemy ships over 100 nautical miles away, well beyond the range of most naval guns. This leap in capability changes the balance at sea. With these missiles, the ship transforms from a simple patrol vessel into a true surface combatant, capable of both defending itself and threatening adversaries. But offense alone isn't enough. Defense matters too. The current rolling airframe missile system, while useful, is not sufficient against the latest air and missile threats. Upgrading to a vertical launch system for evolved Sea Sparrow missiles would provide vital air defense, allowing the ship to intercept incoming missiles and aircraft from multiple directions. These upgrades are complex and expensive, requiring skilled engineers and significant investment, but they are absolutely essential for survival in contested waters, where threats can appear at any moment. The ultimate goal is deterrence, making any adversary think twice before acting aggressively, knowing that any attack could be met with a swift and powerful response. For the Philippines, asymmetric capability is key. Missiles allow a small navy to threaten much larger forces, leveling the playing field and providing a credible defense. Without credible anti-ship and anti-air missiles, the LCS would be little more than a fast-moving target, vulnerable and unable to defend itself or project power. Investing in advanced missiles is just as important as buying the ships themselves. It's the missiles that turn a ship into a true weapon of deterrence and defense. In the end, it's the difference between simply having a presence at sea and projecting real, undeniable power, shaping the balance in the West Philippine Sea. Weapons are useless if a ship can't see the threat. The Freedom class needs major sensor upgrades for the South China Sea. Replacing its radar with a modern assay system would vastly improve tracking and resistance to jamming. Upgrading electronic warfare suites is essential for survival in a region dense with surveillance and electronic threats. Anti-submarine capability is also crucial. Integrating hull-mounted and towed sonar systems will help detect underwater threats. These upgrades create situational awareness, letting the crew see first and act first. In crowded, contested waters, clarity and speed are everything. The Freedom class's biggest flaw is its unreliable propulsion system. The combining gear, which links gas turbines and diesel engines, has caused catastrophic failures. The U.S. Navy has a fix, but it's a major engineering job. Ships must be dry docked and overhauled before they're reliable. For the Philippines, fixing this is non-negotiable. A ship that loses power in a crisis is a liability. The repair requires specialized skills and close cooperation with U.S. experts. Whether done in the U.S. or locally, it demands technology transfer and training. Long-term, maintaining this complex system will require a new level of technical expertise. The Navy must invest in training engineers and technicians to keep these ships running. This is as much about people as it is about hardware. A modern warship is only as capable as its crew. The leap from legacy ships to the LCS demands a total overhaul of training. Sailors must master digital controls, advanced sensors, and complex weapons. Training should start before the ships arrive. Sending crews to the U.S. for hands-on experience is vital. High-fidelity simulators will help crews practice emergencies and tactics safely. New doctrines and tactics must be developed for these advanced ships. The Philippine Navy needs not just skilled technicians, but innovative strategists. Acquiring Freedom-Class ships is just the start. It's a Navy-wide transformation. Modern ships need upgraded piers, new warehouses, and a modernized logistics chain. The Navy must build domestic capacity for repairs and upgrades, investing in shipyards and local expertise. The goal, long-term, self-sufficiency and resilience. This transformation is about more than technology. It's a cultural shift toward innovation and digital operations. It requires strategic vision and sustained investment. Success means more than new ships. It means a credible, self-reliant Navy. The journey is slow and costly, but the payoff is national security. Integrating Freedom-Class ships will test the Philippines' resolve, resources, and vision. The upgrades, missiles, sensors, propulsion, training, are not optional. They're the minimum for credible operations. The real cost is in transformation, shipyard work, training, logistics, and infrastructure. Cutting corners would undermine the entire effort. The human factor is critical. Technology can be bought, but expertise must be built. U.S. partnership will be vital, but the goal is self-reliance. This is no shortcut to naval power. It's a long, demanding road. If the Philippines commits,
The winds of change are gathering strength, swirling over the vast expanse of the South China Sea. Across these contested waters, new ambitions are taking shape, and the Philippines stands at a pivotal crossroads in its maritime history. For years, the Philippine Navy has relied on aging ships, vessels that have seen better days. Now the nation is setting its sights on a transformative upgrade, acquiring state-of-the-art Freedom-Class Littoral Combat Ships from the United States, a move that could redefine its naval capabilities. This isn't just about adding new hardware to the fleet. It marks a strategic shift for a country that has often found itself on the defensive, struggling to protect its own waters from encroachment. For decades, the Philippine Navy has faced immense challenges patrolling its sprawling coastline, especially as regional tensions have escalated and neighboring countries have grown more assertive in their claims. The Horizon Modernization Program is designed to address these challenges head-on. Acquiring advanced warships would be its boldest and most ambitious step yet, signaling a new era for the Philippine military. These modern ships would provide the Philippines with the ability to better enforce its maritime claims, deter potential threats, and project strength far beyond its shores. While diplomatic protests and legal victories have brought international tension, they have not been enough. Manila now recognizes that a credible defense is essential to truly secure its rights and interests in the West Philippine Sea. For many Filipinos, building a stronger Navy is not just about military might. It's a matter of national pride, sovereignty, and the promise of a safer future for generations to come. This bold move sends a clear message to both allies and rivals. The Philippines is committed to defending its territory, strengthening regional partnerships, and investing in its own future security. By taking this decisive step, the Philippines is asserting itself as a key player in Southeast Asia's complex and ever-evolving geopolitical landscape, determined to shape its own destiny on the high seas. The The Freedom-Class Littoral Combat Ship is fast, agile, and specifically designed for coastal operations, seemingly perfect for the Philippines' sprawling archipelago,